Wednesday con El Bumper.
Unfiltered, the real deal. No pre-planning, no chingaderas. Straight up from the bill.
Wacky Wednesday.
B-Town's very own.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Here's your host, Bumper Gomez.
And we are live and in color on another edition of Bumper's Wacky Wednesday. And super excited to be here with, as I spelled her name wrong, so it will be fixed tomorrow. It will be fixed. But super excited to be here with, for me, and I know for a lot of fans, a true diva, a true Tejano legend in our industry. Somebody that has been doing it for years, man. Hit after hit, and just brings you like if you've never seen her show live, you're missing out. You're totally missing out. But as promised, my guest tonight, all the way from the other side of San Antonio. Miss Stefanie Montiel, welcome.
What's going on? I'm so excited. Thank you for finally having me on your show.
Oh, like that. Finally. Oh,
it's an
goodness.
honor to be here. Thank you so much. Big fan. We always watch and we, just tune in to, see what's going on in La Onda. And I love what you do because it's so raw and real. And, you do get to know an artist on a different level. And, I love that it's so personal. So
there you go. That's what we shoot for. But also in the studio, not on camera. I got to mention him because he's already in producer mode, dude. Already, like all since he walked in. Shout out to Mr. Gabe Zavala. He's in here. Legendary producer himself. Tejano hits after Tejano hits, and even in his own right, he's got his own music, his own stuff. So I know the musicians really look up to him and look for him. If you want to hit, then you got to hit up Gabe. You know what I'm saying? That's a known thing. But to everybody tuning in, if this is your first time tuning in on behalf of beautiful Stefanie here, welcome to the show. My name is Bumper Gomez, and this is Bumper's Wacky Wednesday. Wacky Wednesday has nothing to do with Tejano music. Yes, it does. Don't let the name fool you. But just super excited, Steph, to have you here on the show. And like you said, getting the fans of you to get to know a little bit more about you on a bumper note, I guess. Yeah, that's the way to say it. So everybody watching, thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are in for a treat. So Steph, right off the bat. Yeah, everybody's saying
right away. What?
How many years have you been here in our city of San Antonio?
Man, I was thinking about that today, and it's crazy because I actually started doing Tejano music before I moved to San Antonio, living in Albuquerque. I grew up on Tejano music. My dad was a huge Tejano music fan, and he played a lot of Tejano music in his band there in Albuquerque. So I grew up listening to Tejano, learning a lot of the Tejano music, songs. Was a big fan of, many of the artists, Lady Mendoza, of course, Patty Torres, Shell, Selena, and, and it just, the list went on. And so I decided really early on that I wanted to come here, but my dad was like, you got to go to school first. When you finish school, then you can kind of go to Texas or do whatever it is that you want to do. So it's been probably close to over 30 years almost that I've been here in San Antonio. So yeah.
And it's really cool. We were talking before we went live about, Albuquerque. That's your hometown, correct? Mm-hmm. And I was telling Stefanie that, if you guys have never been through Albuquerque, New Mexico, it is literally one of the top 3 sunsets that I've ever seen in the world. You know, you always hear people say that, you know, New Mexico sunsets are they're like paintings, right? And it's literally, if you just catch the right background, the right angle, the colors, it's just beautiful, man. Like there's no other word. And I got to visit it, and I was telling you, I hung out there for a week. And you know what's really cool, Steph, is that New Mexicans, right? Is that the right?
Yes.
New Mexicans, they're proud of their state too, right? What is it? It's something del encanto, right?
It's the land of enchantment.
Land of enchantment. There you go. Land of enchantment. But you guys are really, you guys have your own things that you guys love there, and you're really proud about, just like we are here in Texas. Yeah. So growing up in Albuquerque, Steph, like how is Tejano there? You know, for the people, I know how it is, but for the people watching, like, where do you get it? I mean, if your parents aren't from Texas, I mean, did it just bleed over the border and they play it there just like they played everywhere else?
Well, you know, I think back, you know, in, you know, my dad's era, it was a lot more accepted. You know, they had a lot more Tejano artists going, and, you know, seguidos, you know, going a lot to perform there. It's not like that anymore. You know, we do have certain artists that go every once in a while, but they don't visit as often. And like you said, you know, New Mexico is very proud of their music, their New Mexico music. But they're also very supportive of Tejano music, and they love Tejano music, and they love to come over here for fanfare and all the rest of the stuff. So, you know, it's just, I think a lot of the artists have a lot to do with that support over there. But there are a lot of Tejano music fans that live in New Mexico as well. And
you know, being over there, like the radio stations, it's more now. It's probably more regional Mexican, right? A lot of the majority was there ever like an actual FM Tejano station in Albuquerque?
They kind of mixed the two. They mixed a lot of the Tejano with the New Mexico music, and, you know, and they still do. They still play a lot of Tejano, like on the New Mexico music stations. So you get, you know, we get a lot of love out there. And
you guys, they're really proud of Stefani Montiel, for sure.
I hope so.
No, they really are. Like, you know, I see it all the time. You know, when you go do shows and the amount of people that show up and show you love is just amazing, man. So you mentioned, you know, you mentioned Shell, you mentioned Selena. For somebody that's growing up in New Mexico, how did that music grow on you? Was it because your dad? I mean, in other words, was your first love Tejano music, or was your first love, like, you know, like all of us, you know, whatever our friends listen to, you know? You know,
honestly, Bumper, I don't think I knew the difference. I don't think I knew what Tejano music was, or New Mexico music, or even, like, you know, Christian music, whatever. It was just all music to me. For Christmas, my dad gave me a record player one year, and I was probably about 3 years old. And I would listen to when he would go play, I would sneak his albums or his 45s, and I would listen to them, and I would learn the songs. I would learn, you know, the Christian songs, or, you know, lo que sea. It didn't matter. Like, I was just, you know, I was a sponge, and I loved music. Music was just... it just called me, you know.
Did you put the records back where you got them from?
I tried. I think that's how I got busted, and I scratched a few, I'm sure. But, you know, that was the thing. It was like, it wasn't Tejano, it wasn't New Mexico music. It was just music. And my dad was such a huge fan. He had, you know, all the albums, Ruben Ramos and the Royal Jesters and David Maris. And actually, little Joe even asked my dad to go on the road with him. My dad's a sax player. So my dad, you know, he was very involved in the industry in New Mexico. And
you grew up in it then. I mean, in a
did,
sense,
you know, it was just all around. Music was all around my family. You know, my uncles played, my grandfathers played. My grandfather Emilio Varela played accordion. My uncles Herbert and Joe played guitar, and they played keyboards and wrote songs. And you know, it was just both sides of the family was, you know, very musical. And
so a family get together is always somebody's gonna break out a guitar and start singing. That's cool, man. You know, my personal family, we didn't really have any musicians like that. You know what I mean? We'd turn on the radio and everybody would act like they could sing, right? But I've been to family get-togethers where I've been invited, and it's like, hey, tío, what? saca la guitarra, and they bring out the guitar, and the next thing you know, the tia's singing, everybody's singing. It's just a good time. So how old were you, Steph, when you just started singing? You were like, and your dad probably scratched his head and said, "Wait a minute,
Well,
you can hold a note."
The crazy thing is, I was literally 3 years old when I started performing, because I'm telling you, I would listen to those albums and those records. And, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but Vicente Fernandez was one of the albums that was an album that my dad had, and I would listen to over and over and over. And so I learned Volver, Volver, and that was one of the staple songs that I sang, and so...
At 3 years old,
At
Stephanie?
3 years old. So my dad had me go sing with mariachis. That was my first gig. And I'm just telling you, I was cheap. I would do any song for a Coke with 12 cherries. It had to have 12 maraschino cherries.
with the stems or without the stems?
With the stems. It's easier to bite it off that way.
So speaking of stems, again, because it's Wacky Wednesday, right? I met my wife, and she's like, I want this drink, and it's got this cherry, right? So I said, I'm going to take it. No, give me the stem. And she put the stem in her mouth, right? And then she gives it back to me, and it's in a knot. So, Gabe, why you keep nodding me like, dude, I agree with this. And I'm like, yo,
just showing how our tricks.
Well, what does this mean? Like, why are you giving? She's like, look, I got. And so there I was all night, dude, getting cherries. I couldn't do that shit for nothing. So man, this is just a little side note right there. So 3 years old, Steph, and you're singing and stuff. I would assume that you probably sang at church and things like that, or
everywhere, anywhere, fiestas, the state fair, church, weddings, anything, anywhere that I could sing, I was singing.
What was probably one of the that you can, because when you're 3, it's kind of hard to remember. I don't know. I have friends that say I can remember when I was 3 or 4. I'm like, shit, bro, I better remember what happened yesterday, more or less what happened, But some people do. Some people have a great memory. Do you remember one of your first times where you were just like, wow, at your youngest age? What would be?
That would be 5. At 5 years old. I don't really remember when I was 3. They have pictures, and I have pictures of me singing with the mariachi, and everyone knows that Stefanie Montiel is only 4'11", so she's very little. So my dad would actually build stages for me, or he would put his saxophone cases to where I could stand, because I've always been really tiny. So no one could see me when I was on stage. They'd stack up things, or they'd put 2 big old huge speakers.
Hey, no te mueves. Stay right there.
No, hombre, actually my dad used to get mad at me because he would say, "Do you have gum stuck on the bottom of your shoes?" And I'd be like, "No, why?" "Well, you need to move from there and start dancing."
Oh, damn. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So I think it's because of my dad that I'm so active on stage now, because it was he kind of instilled.
So next show that I see you and you're standing still for more than 30 seconds, I'm going to run up there and be like, "Steph, you got gum on the bottom of your shoes." Real quick, everybody tuning in, man. Thank you, Xavier, Daniel, Norma Salazar, Christy Gonzalez, Michael Salgado Jr., Christina and Jesse Hernandez watching from the Midwest, Fausto Cuevas, Savannah Votion. Hey, how you doing? I know I'm not going to call everybody out, and they're going to be like, "Bump, you never give me a shout out." Bob Ram. You know Bob Ram?
Bob Ram's our new bass player, and Emmy's on there too. Emmy's on.
Wait a minute.
What's up, Emmy?
He's your new bass player? So next question. Is Tears and My Menudo going to be part of the Steph show?
We're going to probably have to do that starting next week.
That song rocks, dude.
He's so talented. He's so cool, super awesome.
So let me tell you something. One day I was doing a show, didn't know the guy from Adam. I've never met him. I'm doing a live podcast from somewhere, and he sees the seats available, and I'm talking like I'm live. This dude just sits down and goes, "Hey, I don't know what's going on here, but hey, what's going on? How you doing? I'm Bob Ram." And I was like, "Yo, what the hell?"
No, he's so personable, and just when we had our first, I think it was an audition, and he just came, sat down, and it was we'd known him for years, and so we're really happy to have him.
That's awesome, man. What a small world.
And little tidbit, I'm going to be marrying him next week. I mean, I'm not going to be marrying him, but I'm going to marry
Oh my goodness, dude! Wow. Dave was in the middle of a drink and he almost choked. He's like, "What?" He goes, "He's fired. Baseman hasn't even played. He's already fired, bro." Oh my goodness. Okay. You never know what's gonna happen on Bumper's Wacky Wednesday, dude. That's hilarious. But so you're an ordained minister.
I am. Yeah. During COVID, it was like, estamos en la casa. What are we doing here? Like we were nothing. Nothing was going on. So we started doing like our little, our quarantini shows. We started doing like our little live shows and just having fun with the family. And then my brother's like, "Why don't you become an ordained minister?" And I'm like, "For what?" And he's like, "A lot of people are trying to get married now during COVID. You should take advantage of it." And I'm like, "I don't know, dude. I don't know if I could do that."
Do you charge or just tips, whatever they want?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done very many.
Hey, dude, because right now, people know that Stefani Montiel is ordained. They're like, "Dude, Stefani married us, bro." Like that would
I'm
be.
not gonna marry you.
But what I'm saying is like, people like, "Oh, she didn't." Stefani married. She didn't play at our wedding. We couldn't afford her to play, but we paid her to. She was ordained minister, and she got us married.
That's so funny. Yeah. So I haven't done a whole lot just because I married. I think my first ceremony was our daughter when our daughter got married. So I married our daughter.
That's awesome.
Well, it just sounds so weird. I officiated the wedding for our daughter.
You did it online, right?
No, we did it in person.
You did?
Yes.
No. I'm saying you.
Oh, online. Yes, the school.
The ordained minister.
I did,
the thing. You got your little certificate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
That's awesome, man. So there you guys go. If you need to get married and you need a minister at a last minute, hit up Stefani Montiel and she can show up. I mean, I don't know what the price is, but who knows?
We'll figure it out.
Bob Ram said 12 cherries and a Coke.
12 cherries and a Coke. That's right.
Oh
it's gonna
man!
Need some I don't know, some Malibu or something in it these days, dude.
That's hilarious. No, so this morning I was driving to work and I said, I was actually late this morning to work and traffic was bad, so I was like, I got to remind everybody about the show, and I told you I've been listening to your thing, right? Shot. I'm like, dude, it's 7:30 in the morning, but I'm ready right now. Give me a shot. Let's go.
How early it was. Well, I'm like, when did he post this?
Well, no, this it's cool because check it out, right? My 9 to 5, we work on a federal schedule, right? So I'm off every other Friday. Well, since I'm off this Friday and it's a holiday, I get tomorrow off.
Oh, nice.
But tomorrow for me, for Bumper and a few 100,000 other Americans, is our birthday tomorrow. Not my physical birthday, but it's the Marine Corps' birthday. And if you guys know, Marines take our birthday out of all the services, we take it the most serious. And what I mean by that is like, we go out, whether you're 17 years old or 92 years old, you can find us all across America making fools of ourselves tomorrow night and throwing down some beers and shots. So I might take a couple tonight because Steph's here just to, and I'm off. I got like a 4-day week, so I'm excited, dude. I'm like, start off with the show. We're gonna be good,
tomorrow,
man. We're gonna be good. So again, man, everybody tuning in, thank you. I appreciate you. Shout out to my buddy from It's Tejano Time. I got to sit on a show last night, and of course, he wanted me to remind Steph that he has the most videos of Steph from way back in the day,
and pictures,
he's a huge Steph fan.
As a matter of fact, I found like a kind of like a photo album that he had made for me. I don't know if you remember this, buddy, but you used to like make photo albums of like the different shows that we were at, and you would like comment, like you make those little like bubble. Like
the little circle captions. And put captions in it.
Yes, and he had these like the funniest stuff, and I found that just last week, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to share these with Buddy because like it's crazy. I hadn't seen them in years, but yeah, Buddy.
He's back.
And us, we go way back.
He's doing his thing, and then real quick, a shout out to your sister, right? Sasha's your sister.
Sasha's on.
She's like right back. She's back home, and then my wife's like, oh no, I'll say goodnight now. Because my wife's a chip, like she's dedicated mother. Like my son's got to go to bed, and we have people here all the time. And people hit up like, Weecha, we call her Weecha. Stefani Montiel is in your house. Gabe Zavala's in your house. Michael Salgado's in your house. Right? Where are you at? Oh, I'm laying down.
Sleeping.
And she'll send me the messages and people are like, what? What do you mean you're late? She's like, I'll see him again. We'll go to one of their concerts or whatever. Like,
sure.
She's so nonchalant about stuff. But again, I'm just super excited you're here.
Thank you. Same here.
And to everybody watching, Steph is a completely down to earth person. I think the first time I ever had a conversation with you, more than, can you autograph this or sign this? You're just, very just you know what I mean? I think for me, I'm speaking for myself, female artists are very hard to approach from a male standpoint. I think girls can just go up to men or women and they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for men, it's kind of like, en raza, it's the machismo, like, bro, I'm not going to walk up and, you know what I mean? But walking up to you, you're very like talkative, like, chill. And I think I'm not the only one people think like, oh no, I'm not going to. That's Steph. Like I'm not,
I'm
Gabe
really
has
goofy.
security.
I'm like super goofy. So like I'm always laughing and I always say silly things like what I just said about wearing bob. Like I somehow always seem to put my foot in my mouth. It's not intentional. It just kind of happens.
Hey,
so.
that's funny, man. That's funny. The other great thing that I love about you and Gabe, and I've said this about, there's a few other artists that have been on here. There she goes, Gabe.
Sorry.
It's comfy. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So one of the things that I admire about you both is I've had, I don't know if Gabe ever told you, but I called him one time. I think me and Gabe talked for like an hour and a half straight.
Oh yeah, he was outside the house in the car, and I'm like, "What is he doing out there?"
Dude, so we were going off, and Gabe, I told him that there's something that I use that he always talks about, right? And he says, Tejano music to him is like a wave, like, and I heard it in an interview that he'd done, I don't know, a couple of years back, and I always use that. I use that in a sense, right? That Tejano's on a wave, and I think right now it's growing, like the wave's getting bigger, and it's a good thing. But where I was going with it is that what I admire about you both is not only are you guys artists, producers, you're friends of the onda. You're friends with other artists, and you're not like, oh, I'm Steph and Gabe, I'm not gonna go out to this place. You cannot even be playing, but you'll find Steph there with the baseball cap, kick back, right? Gabe chilling, and they're drinking a beer just like everybody else, eating or whatever, wherever the place is at, and you're there to enjoy music just like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, that's super. Who does that? Like, I'm just saying, there's not a lot of artists who do that. There is a lot of my friends as artists. They're very supportive of Tejano music, and to me as a fan, that's awesome, right? Because people see that like, well, they're not even on the ticket, but yet they're here, right, supporting, whoever the band is. Because you guys,
it's so important. It really is, especially with Gabe. He works with so many artists, and we've been in this industry a long time, and so we've been really fortunate to make some amazing friends. And this industry is tough. Just like any other industry, but you. You can't be friends with everybody, but we do try to support however we can, and we try to go out, and show love, especially for the newer artists and the artists that Gabriel, works with, and the artists that I've worked with, and I think we have a really good just connection with those people, and it's real, it's not fake, it's not like we're trying to be friends with everybody and everybody.
Right. You're
just
being
honest.
yeah, for sure.
And we saw each other at Destiny's show. What was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Smoke.
And
I didn't know Stefani was incognito. She's in the back.
Gabe comes from the studio and he's like, hey, let's go see Destiny. She's here tonight. Because we were supposed to go. We thought it was the week before and I was in Monterrey. But then he was like, no, it's the week after. So then we were able to come. And I wasn't sure if Gabe was going to come from the studio and we were going to go or not. And so he comes and he's like, let's go. And I'm like, you didn't tell me if we were going for sure. So I threw it on a cap and I was incognito. But we had a great time. She did amazing.
Shout out to Emmanuel J, another guy who's always out there supporting Emmanuel J. He tells us, say, what's up? So
boys.
before I forget this question, because that's me, that's my I forget. Stefani, has there ever been a time where you're in the background, you're watching your husband do his thing, he's working on a song, he's working with an artist, male or female, and he puts something together and you hear it, either walking by or you're there in the mix, and you tap him on the shoulder and say like, hey, come here, dude. Like, what the F, right? Like, why am I not singing this song? like this should be on my album,
You know,
right? I want to know if that happens.
I mean, it's crazy because I love everything he does. Honestly, like I hear stuff and I'm just like, dude, that's freaking badass. Like, there was a song. Well, I mean, let me just go a little bit further back. So there was a song that he was working on, right? And I got really upset because he took something that, like, in my family, he met my cousin that moved here from Albuquerque, and he came over and we were celebrating a birthday or something, and he's like, "¿Quién quiere queque?" And Gabriel's like, "¿Quién quiere queque?" He's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Cake." He's like, "Queque? That's not cake. You don't say queque."
Tex-Mex, that's queque. Hell yeah.
That's what we say in New Mexico. And he goes, "It's pastel." And I'm like, "No, it's queque. We say quien quiere."
I say queque.
You know? So he comes up with a song called Quien Quiere Shots, right? And I'm like, he starts recording this song and I'm like, dude, that sounds cool. Like, that's awesome. Who's it for? And he's like, oh, it's for this girl that I'm, gonna start. It's just a demo right now and whatever. And I'm like, and what's the hook? And he's like, Quien Quiere Shots. And I'm like, did you get that from my cousin? And he was like, well, yeah, like, that's kind of like where I got the quien quiere shots. And so, like, the song progressed and I freaking loved it. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but you're not giving that to someone else because you got it from my family, first of all. And that's going to be my song.
Oh, dude,
that's the only song that's ever happened with. Not that I don't absolutely love and adore every song he works on, because, I mean...
That is hilarious. There it is right there, guys. Quien quiere queque? Hell yeah. It could go either way, Gabe. Quien quiere queque? Quien quiere shots? Either one. But this is the song that we're talking about right there.
Shout out to Cousin Jason.
Oh my goodness, you never know what's gonna happen on Wacky Wednesday, man. We went from shots to keke to I don't know. Yeah. Steph, so that was one question today that I was just like, dude, I absolutely have to know, because as an artist, it has to. You have to hear a song and be like, yo, hubby, what the F, dude? Like, that's a bad... We should be making money on that song, not somebody else, right?
Yeah. Well,
but, it's Gabe Zavala. You know what I mean? What are you going to do?
Either way, so it's great, and it's awesome to see, so many people gravitating to his musical style and sound, and because there's no mistaking when, you hear a Zavala music production. And to me, that's just, it's amazing, because we've been at this for so long, and regardless of me being an artist, he's also an artist and he's a producer, and, we each have our individual dreams and hopes and aspirations, and we've been able to come together and come this far and sustain in this industry for this amount of time, and mind
tough,
you,
it's
easy. Tough coming from outside of Texas. Like, I don't know very many artists who've been able to come and stay here and completely move and uproot their family, and here we are close to 30 years in the industry and we're still out here doing it. And I think we're better than ever. We're stronger than ever. And, we went through a hard, couple of years. So, we've slowed down a little bit lately, and we've needed some time to heal and to process everything that's kind of gone on in our lives. But but we're coming back, and we're coming back with a vengeance. So get ready.
That's awesome. I can definitely say we talk about Gabe. I'm sure on Friday nights his ears burn because on Frito Pie Fridays we always there's a song either he produced or comes up, and I always play a song for the first time and the people get to hear it, and then that's got a Zavala thumbprint on it. I'm getting to the point to where, and that's a good thing, right? Like I can hear a song and be like, Gabe did that song. Like I already know it's got his thumbprint and his index finger. I saw it. Right? It's got the fingerprints. But it's really cool that, like you said, to be in the business for so long, and yet you guys are still here. You're still standing. You're still doing what you love, and that's a hard thing to do, man. And that brings me to another area that we want to get to. For people to know, Steph, that you're a wife, you're a mother, and you're a glamma.
Glammy.
All right,
Ooh.
a glammy. I'm sorry, a glammy. And you guys both share it on social media. Some people are very private about their families, but I think you guys do a very good job of, letting people know who you guys are.
Yeah.
Other than musicians. So Steph, how in the hell are you able to travel, do what you got to do, and be this Tejano artist, and yet still find time to be a mother, to be a wife? Well, being a wife, Dan, Gabe's with you, right? But I'm saying, I'm sure, when your kids are going to school, when you're going to school and stuff like that, like that can't be easy. I know it's the weekends, but sometimes traveling, I mean, a good 3-day Friday, Saturday, Sunday shows can turn from Wednesday to Sunday, right? Just depending on travel and whatnot. So after all these years, how do you manage to do that?
Well, the biggest thing for us has been my parents' help. I know that there would have been no way for us to continue doing music, or at least, me do music, if I hadn't had the help from my mom and my dad. When we moved from New Mexico, my family, basically, my dad and my mom uprooted our entire family. So it wasn't just, me that came by myself. It was my mom, my dad, my brothers, Dwight, Ronnie, my sister, Sasha. And, we literally lived in a 1-bedroom apartment here in San Antonio because...
Where?
Here in San Antonio off of Vance Jackson. Vance Jackson and 410. And, it was all of us together in that 1-bedroom apartment. And, we sacrificed a lot because it's tough. It wasn't easy. Yes, I was signed. I signed with Capitol Records before I moved it to Texas, and then that kind of fell through, and they told me that they had dropped me accidentally. And so then, I don't know how that, well, later on we come to find out that it was because they owed me royalties, and they dropped me a couple weeks before they had to pay you. So, you live and you learn. That's when we got smart and we got an attorney, and because they wanted to re-sign me. And it was just kind of hard because we had, a bad taste in our mouth.
Yeah, you had trust issues right there, right off the bat.
Yeah. So, I recorded 2 songs with them, with Capitol, and, I back to the family thing. It was just, had it not been for my parents, I don't think that I would have been able to do what I've done, to have been on the road, because we had both of our kids while we were playing. I performed till I was 8 months pregnant with both of them. Had them both, and literally a week later...
8 months pregnant?
8 months pregnant with both of them, and then a week later we were back on the road. I have pictures of Ilea, our daughter, and she was literally newborn, and I had a gig to play in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and we were back on the road, and that was just because none of us had anything other than music. Like my family,
that was your way of living.
That was everything that we did, for all of us, Gabe included, and he was part of my band, and I mean, we went through a lot of hard times, and it was tough, but I think, family is the key, for me, and they gave up a lot, and they just sacrificed a lot so that they could help me to realize my dreams, and in turn I hope that my brothers and my sisters are happy with being here. I know they all have their husbands and wives and families now, and everyone's rooted here in Texas. And, I think it's just been a beautiful journey because we've just had so much love from Texas, from the people of Texas, from the fans, and people who've become like our family, our second family.
Your second family here.
Yeah, because we don't have any, we didn't have anyone here. It was just us.
And Steph, so a lot of your tios, everybody's still in New Mexico.
Everyone's in New Mexico. So it's just both my brothers live in the Houston, Galveston area. And then my sister Sasha lives here in San Antonio.
Sasha sings with you guys, right?
Sasha sings with us. She's been on a little bit of a hiatus. She just had a little girl. She's six months old, I believe. She's going to be 7 months old now.
Dang.
Yeah, and then so our daughter Ilea was singing with us for a while, but she had our grandbaby Saint, and he's 17 months now. And
Gabe doesn't leave him. Gabe has him all the time. Like I see him all. It's awesome, dude. It really is.
He's chief-lao with him. Oh my gosh, they're like best buds. Like he has to make sure that Gabriel's next to him. He'll if he's taking a nap or whatever, he has to roll over and he'll touch Gabe to make sure he's right there with him. And he rolls over and hugs him and he gives him.
What's the best thing about grandkids, right?
We don't give ours back.
Oh, okay. You can have it until they're like, all right, here you go. You take it back. She's like, we don't give ours back.
No, we love him too much. We're like, daughter, go to work.
That's awesome. That's all. So people are on here. Let me give a big shout out to Vert Ibarra out there from Florida, Grupo Completo. And yes, Steph, you're going to be at the Spinach Festival this weekend.
This weekend on Sunday, y'all. So come on out. It's going
Are
to be
you going to eat
show.
spinach?
I don't know. I might turn out like Popeye, so I don't want to do all that.
Dude,
I don't want to bring everyone to the gun show.
There you go. I always thought spinach came in a can. I was so South Texan that I it wasn't until I don't know where I went and somebody's like, you want some spinach with your salads? I'm like, what? Why would you put that goopy stuff on my salad? And
the goopy stuff.
Yeah, in the can, because that's the way it came. And Popeye ate it out of a can.
Right. Yep.
So, but shout out to the Tejano man, Chris Tristan,
hey.
John Caldera. What's up, John? Let me see. I don't want to. People gonna be like, Bobby, you didn't give me my shout. DJ Brandon in the house, always supporting Tejano music. Good luck this weekend on your award show. Vinny Trevino.
Thank you.
Jacob Mendoza.
Jacob.
She's like the very best, the Queen Stefani.
Aw, I love him. Cindy and Santiago in the Valley are on. A friend of ours from New York. Well, he's from Albuquerque. He's from the 5050, but he lives in New York now, and he's doing makeup for everyone.
Big time people?
Yes. So
and he's in New York?
Shout out to Brandon. Yes. And he's done makeup on me, and he's just incredible. So
all right. When he comes,
Brandon,
he has to do makeup on me. We'll check it out.
He's amazing.
If somebody writes a long comment, I like to read them.
Yeah.
Just because it took a long time to write, right? Yeah. Somebody you guys might know, Vanessa Salinas Sanchez from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, said, Saludos bumper, La Dueña Stefani Montiel. She's definitely beautiful inside and out, down to earth. Stefani left her mark in Milwaukee's Mexican Fiesta in 2019. I think it's time she makes her return to Fiesta 2023. I've seen a lot of female performers, and Stefani's in her own lane. She gives 110%, beginning to end, dancing nonstop. Her vocals are fire. Please say hello to Steph and for me and my daughters via Vita and Sophia, and they're all watching right now. Her daughters are awesome.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna be superstars.
She introduced me to them. I went up there for this last one, and they looked at me with the meanest look, and they're just like, "You're the guy that takes over our TV on Wednesday night."
They are the cutest things ever. And shout out to you, Vanessa, all the family. Fela, please make sure to say hi to her. And we'll have to sing happy birthday to her again, hopefully, if we come back to Milwaukee.
And Steph, if you can just give a very special shout out to my neighbor, because he was out all evening watering his grass, waiting to see you and Gabe pull up. But I guess it just got too dark. To my neighbor, Juan Rodriguez, he's watching right now.
Hey, Juan. We'll be out in a little bit.
There you go.
We'll go knock on the door and be like, hey, what's up?
But, again, this just shows you how down to earth you are. You know what I mean? I really think that people think that you guys, I always say this. big stage, little stage, it doesn't matter. For raza, the minute we see somebody walk up some steps on a stage, tienen feria, right? Then people got money, right?
wish.
Like
I wish.
they got money. You could be the biggest man, the smallest man. Like, hey, no, there's people got money. They don't, you know what I mean? But you guys are down to earth, dude. During COVID, I saw you guys do. You talked a little bit about that. You guys found a way to interact with your fans and do things like that. Like, was that your idea, Gabe's idea?
I think it was kind of just a collective thing, you know, because even our kids were home, and our kids are super, super talented. Shout out to our son, Jalen. I don't know if he's watching, but I didn't.
What's your son's name?
Jalen.
How do you spell it?
Jaylen. Or, it's on the birth certificate, it's Lon.
So let me ask you, how old is he?
Jalen is 23.
He's 23 years old. So my daughter is 25. 20. Yeah, I would say 25 or 26. Her name is Jalen.
Really? Oh, cool.
Did you get the name from Jalen Rose?
Yes, because that was when the
Michigan
the
with a
playoffs were.
fan.
Yeah.
Dude, what's up? See, there you go.
Like, that's a really cool name.
See, you never know what's gonna happen on Wacky. He said her son named Jaden. My daughter's named Jaden, and I named him.
so
I named her because I was a huge
He's
Fab Five fan
awesome,
in Michigan, and Jalen was a name that it wasn't a common name.
No, like,
but
never
you know,
heard that.
they're like 18-year-old to 27-year-old right now. That is a very
popular name.
Yeah, and yes, the parents, Jalen Rose. Yeah.
That's so funny. So yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy because our kids are super, super talented, and Jalen is the quiet one. Ilea's the very outgoing. You know, she's the dancer. She was with the Silver Dancers for years with the Spurs. She was, you know, a dancer in high school, and she was with the San Antonio Talons, and now she sings with the band out of Dallas, or a couple bands out of Dallas, and so she's just always been like
The rock star.
Gabriel says the Energizer Bunny. She's just nonstop, always doing something. And Jalen is just, he's very quiet. He's very much like, I think more like me, because I'm really quiet. I really am.
I would say Gabe's really, to me, he's very like, here, I'm going to put him on the spot. Gabe, to me, comes across as very artistic. Not autistic, artistic, right? So no, what I mean by that is like most people that are very like highly artistic, right? To me, they're quiet. They take everything in. You know what I mean? Before they say anything, they're very observant. They're very,
He is.
you know, and
he's in tune with people. Like, he pays attention, and he, you know, he's very, it's weird because sometimes, like, you know, someone will tell him something, and, you know, just in, you know, like, we'll all be kind of talking with a group of people, and Gabe remembers stuff, and he just really, like, he cares.
Yeah.
He cares about what you're saying. It's not like going in one ear and out. He's like, yeah. No, that's not Gabriel. He, like, listens, pays attention.
Takes it all in.
And he remembers, and he'll, like, do something nice, you know, like, to remember, like, you know, for a person that, you know, you wouldn't think he would. I mean, he's a nice person. He does a lot of nice things. But just in you know, just one of those, he's very, I don't know how you would say it, but just he really honestly cares when he's listening to you, when you're talking to him, and when you're saying something. And
have you guys ever done the like a social media where you know, where they put the couple together and they're like
like the dating game?
It's not like the dating game. It's like they ask them questions and they're like, me, you. You never seen that?
No.
So like I would put you next to Gabe and be like, okay, who snores? Right, you see what I'm saying? Like, it'd be like that. Like, you know what I mean? Who's going to be the first to do this, whatever? And it's just funny. And speaking of that, you know, you're speaking of your family and COVID and stuff. Who ¿Quién manda en la casa? Because I know when you do shows, it's all the women. ¿Qué? The women manda, no, the men manda. Like, in the...
It's
Being OG.
Being
Calling me back right now.
He's like, need the stage block.
So
Hermes is calling.
yeah, I gotta tell him, hey, dude, Bino G, I'm in an interview with Steph. I'll call you back. Let me see. I'll call you back. I've been really texting him. An interview with Stefani. Who runs the house?
It's, you know what? We're pretty chill, both of us. Like, it's not like I don't know. It's 50-50. It's not even like, we're not like that. We're super, super chill.
So I saw a post today where the guy's like, you know, everybody else says happy wife, happy life. And the dude's like, that's not right. Men deserve to be happy too. Happy spouse, happy house.
There you go. That's nice. That's us, I think. We're pretty chill, both of us. And
Gabe,
we both handle like.
You're not on camera, dog, for real?
I'm looking at him like with the side eye, like, you better be answering this like correctly.
No, you know, I mean, it's for the reason I ask is because you guys are really busy. Like, you guys are extremely busy people. You know, it's not a regular 9-to-5 job. You know, when I do talk to Gabe every so often, he's working on somebody's stuff. You know, and I think I don't know why, but music producers like to work like vampires. Like they do better work like after midnight or some shit. Like
Absolutely.
What's wrong with waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and working on something? I don't know. Does shit come to your head better after midnight or what? What's the deal? You know,
it's just we're programmed that way. It's been a long time programming. I think since we were kids. You know, it's like we've always been, and not in a bad way, but kind of in like the bar scene. You know, we've gone to dances since we were very young, and I used to sing at clubs and things like with my dad's band, and Gabe the same. Like he was playing in clubs when he was a little boy too. So, you know, it's just.
And you DJ too. Yeah, I've been to I don't know where it was, man, but it was on St. Mary Street, and it was probably about I don't know 3 or 4 years ago, and we had some friends come from Laredo, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go." I said, "Dude, I never go to St. Mary Street, but I'll go with you. You guys are visiting." So we go into this place, and it was just chill, like it was. And I look up there, and I said, and I looked at my, and I know my Tejano artists, I know my people, right? So I'm sitting there, and I haven't noticed you yet. And I look up on it had like a little stage, right? I said, that's Gabe Zavala up there, DJ. So then my wife's like, who? I said, that's Gabe, the producer. That's Gabe Zavala up there. She goes, he's not going to. I said, okay. And then we sat down, ordered a beer or whatever, and I look, and there's Stefani at the edge of the bar with like her friends. I'm like, and that's Stefani Montiel. So then my buddy from Laredo his name is Woody. Woody was like, bump. That's. I said, okay, bro, that's your husband up there on the. I'm gonna go talk to her. I said, well, your wife's right here. Go ahead, go right ahead. Let's see where this ends up at. So shout out to Woody and Laredo. But you know, again, just goes to show you guys are out and about in San Antonio, right? People can find you guys doing normal things. But going back to being at home. Being married in the music business, Stefani, and I know it has to happen. It's Wacky Wednesday. If Gabe just does something that totally pisses you off, and this happens like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you know you're going on stage at 10 o'clock, he hasn't said he's sorry, and you're still mad. Like, what happens? Like, what happens when you go on stage?
Hey, that's just, we just got to work through it. We're professionals, so we'll be up there like we're in love singing to each other. Y luego after, pass. No, I'm just...
No, because, you know, I'm thinking, you know, I could see Steph up there, you know, working her stuff, singing, doing her thing, and just kind of like give a look back at, you know, Gabe's always, you know, that's the thing about Gabe. He's not an attention gainer. Like if you could put him behind a curtain, he probably would be happy as hell playing and doing his thing, right? But he's always kind of not centered, but off to the right or the left. And I could just see you going like, don't look at me. Don't even look at me, right?
You know what's crazy is my dad used to always talk to me about an artist that he used to play with in New Mexico, and it was a husband and wife. And he said, man, they used to fight so bad. He said they were always fighting and arguing. He's like, but they'd get on stage and they were just like, they would look into each other's eyes and sing. And so I always think about that. And I'm like, okay, we're professionals here. We got to make that money. We got to make these people believe what we're up here doing. So we'll get through that. We'll get to that later.
Hey, Gabe. And then you're in the very back of the band and she's all the way in the front.
No, I'm up there like, where are you going? Why are you going that way? You're going the wrong way. Why did you stop? How come you're going that way on the GPS? Well, why are you following that way?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be tough. I mean, you think of musicians, and not just Tejano, but just all kinds of musicians like that have been husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, it's got to be tough, dude. And I'm gonna have Gabe. He's gonna have his own show. I can't wait to ask him. And one of the questions I'm gonna ask him is like, Gabe, how do you deal with having such a beautiful wife up there on stage, and then you just have the men who are just being men. That's not even the right way to say, just being dumb. Like, how do you stay professional? That was going to be so Gabe, act like you're not here and you got to practice the answer to that question, bro. Okay.
The good thing is Gabe's not jealous, so that's a nice thing. He's always
dude, Steph, you would almost have to not be like, you could not live. Gabe could not smile if he was a jealous person.
Right.
Guaranteed. Like, you'd be on that stage, be like, look over here again. I'm gonna take this. You know what I mean?
There's only been one time when he's jumped off the stage and actually like almost popped somebody.
Neta?
But it was because I was actually watching.
Let's talk about this. Where was this at?
It was here in San Antonio at Madison Avenue. I don't know if y'all remember
Madison Avenue way back in the day.
Yes. But he swears he saw a guy like push my head. Like, he thought that someone like actually like was just being necio and like pushed my head down. And he like literally jumped off the stage and was ready to like just like go at it with this dude, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what happened?
Richie, it was Bob from the mama. He came in jumping off the stage.
So I know he would defend my honor if it was necessary, but other than that, Gabe's really chill.
That's awesome. I met Stefani back in 1999 for the first time in Lubbock, Texas for Fiesta Patrias, and then finally got to see her again in Dallas 18 years later. And all I can say is that throughout all her success and hits, she's always remained humble. She's a beautiful person inside and out, amazing personality, and a queen. Then we have Gabriel Zavala, a beast at everything he does, but such a humble giant. I'm all short next to him, asking him, grown ass man, for a pic. Being a fanboy, right? You're being a fanboy. It's all good. Continued success to both of you, and los deseo lo mejor siempre. And that was from Gabriel Ramos.
Aww,
that's awesome,
so
man.
Sweet. Thank you, Gabriel. Appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to everybody watching at Dallas Fort Worth. I think, buddy, you got on here late because Steph even gave you a personal shout out, buddy.
I did.
It's Tejano time on here.
Buddy actually was one of the first ones, I think, to have us on the show right after, like right before I had our daughter Ilea, and then right after. Like, he has a video, and I'm literally holding her newborn.
I think he told me last night that he has a picture of actually holding your daughter when she's a baby. Yeah. He has a lot of old. It's crazy. That guy is a historian.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
man,
he was everywhere.
Was like,
he's getting back into it, man. He's getting back into it. Ask her about Jamaica cruise. We're about to fight with some drunks. Pinche Gabe almost went to jail. Hey, this is.
Okay, wait, who was that? Was that Sisto? Is that Sisto?
That is.
Who's asking?
Yes, Sisto Herrera.
Well, this guy came up and like, okay, so we're in the club, right?
Okay.
And minding our own business. It was at the Tejano cruise, so we were like with friends, and we're just in the club. It was Ilea, our daughter, Sasha, my cousin Rubina, Gabe, and I think Sisto was like in the area. We didn't know him very well at that point, and his significant other at the time, and there were these guys, these young kids, and every time this one would walk by me, he'd grab my nalga, and I'm like, is he seriously like grabbing my butt every time he walks by. So I told my sister, I'm like, dude, this guy keeps grabbing me. And Sasha was like, shut up. And our daughter is like, she's the firecracker. Anyone that knows Ilea she's super chill.
Just don't cross her.
Until you piss her off. And then forget it. Like it's over. It's done. So I tell Eileen, I'm like, this guy, and she's like, what guy? And I'm like, that one. She's like, that young guy. And I'm like, that young guy. Like, he's going by and he keeps grabbing me. So I don't know if I told Gabe or he actually saw him, but like, he didn't just go by and like grab my butt a little bit. He like went by and like, it was like full hand nalga, like just like, and I was like, whoa.
Hey, Stefani, how?
Wow. And I freaked out, and I was just like, and I told Eileen, don't tell Dad. I don't want, like, this is the first night on the cruise. I don't want anything to happen. No, but Gabe, like, went up to him, and he was like, yo, what's up, man? And then, like, the guy's girlfriend got in Gabe's face, and then I was like, yo, what's up?
Ching! Rasa came out real quick.
There's a jail on the cruise.
That's when we didn't know there was a jail on the cruise.
Hell yeah, there's a jail on this cruise ship.
Yeah, so it got pretty crazy. They had to call, it was Club Vibe, but like all the people on the cruise couldn't say, like they were from different places, you know, around the world, and they would say it was Club Vibe, and I'm like, where the heck is Club Vibe? It's Club Vibe, but they couldn't say the V. Hey, vamos a Club Vibe esta noche.
So there you go. You heard it here first, dude. Gabe and Steph on a Jamaican cruise somewhere in Elba. They almost took out.
Sisto had our back. Sisto was like right there with Gabe, and we didn't really even know Sisto, but man, he was right there with Gabe, and he's like, man, I got y'all. I'll go to jail with y'all. Okay.
So then, you know, before we move on to something else, the question for Steph was that Gabe might not be a jealous guy, but Stefani Montiel.
Am I jealous?
A little jealous.
Gabe's leaving the room, y'all.
There you go as he walks out of the studio.
I have no part in this. You know, I'm not. I really am not. Like, I think it's just because being around what we do and so many people, half the time I don't even know where he is. This guy disappears and everyone's like, where's Gabe? Like, after the gig. But he's always doing something. He's always busy, always working. And I completely understand because I go through the same thing. And, you know, there's people, mostly everyone's respectful, and they know that we're together. They know our relationship. We've been, Ilea's 25, 26, and, you know, we were together 2 years prior to that. So we're 28 years together. So, I mean, you know, it's like, we don't get jealous. We understand. We know it's part of what
you're already grown folk. Yeah, that's what I call, like, when you get to a relationship, like, hey, we're grown folk. You know, people ask me all the time, like, where's your wife? I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. Like, why are you out here by yourself? I said, well, I came listen to some music and talk to you guys, to artists. I didn't come out here to be a puto. Yeah. Right? I would say puto, but I'm just saying, trying to be funny, right? And so, you know, just, we're grown folk. Like, you know what I mean? That's not a... I got other things in this world to worry about than stuff
we
like
know
that.
each other and we trust each other and you know, like I'm not gonna say it's always been that way because you know when you're younger it's like, you know, you're like,
so Steph, really no evil eye look by your peripheral vision, like looking here, you know, girl comes up to Gabe like, Gabe, let me get a picture, and it's like a, you know, super tight hug. There's never like the
no. No, it's all about like seriously.
Gabe's like, I'll take a picture, but you got to stand over here.
No, and it's like, it's never like an issue. I mean, most, you know, like I'm saying, most people are pretty chill, and then they're not, you know, I don't know. They know the situation, so I don't think most people would try anything.
That's cool, man.
But we do have some necios every once in a while, or necias. But it's just like,
you're always gonna have one or two. You know, necios are everywhere, man. My wife, she's already coming, and your wife's not jealous at all. She says that, but let somebody like, you know, if you
overstep the boundaries, that's a whole different.
There you go.
If you
there you go.
Then we got a problem.
Hey, Steph, and so let's go into a little bit towards music. Having a producer next to you most of the time. You got something new coming? Is there anything you're working on, or?
Yes, we have a lot of music that we've been working on, and a lot of it has been since COVID. I mean, we were recording, we were writing, working with songwriters since then, and like I mentioned earlier, these past couple of years have been really tough for my family and I, and we went through having my father. My father actually, he had heart failure, and we lost him, and they were able to bring him back, and he spent a few weeks in the hospital. After that, he came home. Then a couple weeks later, had a ruptured aneurysm in his aortic
spleen,
right in the middle. Yeah. So then he was back in the hospital for a couple more weeks. I mean, we just went through a really traumatic time, and then 4 months later, we lost my mom. And that's been just a huge blow to our family. She was the glue that held us together, and it's taken everything out of me. As far as creatively, it just the desire to go on, like as far as musically, I wasn't even sure that I wanted to continue because she was such a huge part of everything that I did. And since I was a little girl, I mean, my style, my fashion, it's all because of my mom. She was the one who would dress me. She had costumes made for me. She's
behind you all the
beautiful.
time.
My mother was beautiful, green eyes, black hair, just a gorgeous woman. And she was always very, well dressed. I mean, she was a stunner, and and she knew that. She knew how to dress. She knew how to carry herself, and she helped me with that. With my whole persona. And when I say I'm close to my family, that is like a total understatement. I don't think they're up until this point. We had never really been apart. I've always been with my family. They've always been a part of everything that I've done. They were on the road with us, with our kids. Our kids grew up on the road because my family was on the road with us. So my parents would travel with us. My mom would take care of the kids. And literally she'd be selling my merchandise, and she'd have one of the babies in her other hand. And she was out there selling, and we're up on stage working. And my dad's out there, making sure the sound is right, collecting the money and making sure everything's good. And so Sasha's on stage with us, and even our brothers were on the road with us. So I'm like stuck like glued to my family. We're extremely close. And when we lost my mom, it was just like my whole world just crumbled. And I still struggle every day with that.
I remember I think you were were performing at Smoke, and your mom was really sick, and I remember some say that Steph's not going to play, and then all of a sudden last minute it's like, no, she's going to play. Yeah. And I remember you going up saying like, my mom's sick, but this is where she would want me to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's awesome that you say, you're really close to your family, because, as Chicanos, Latinos, that's what we have. That is our glue. That is what we live for. And every family's different. Every dynamic is different. But when you're around your mom and dad all the time, and they've been there since day one, pushing you and helping you, I mean, it's got to be tough. You know what I mean? Somebody that you're used to leaning on forever is just taken away from you. It cannot be easy. It cannot be easy.
Sorry, y'all.
But I hope you, as a fan of Stefanie Montiel, I hope you see it as like, your mom knows that's where you shine, right? And if she was here, she'd be like, hey, you need to get your butt up on that stage and
absolutely
and do your thing. And it's cool. Your sister's next to you. You know what I mean? Your husband's on there with you. It's truly a family affair, right? A family thing that you guys that you guys can do up on the stage. But Steph, did after that was you kind of mentioned a little bit, was there a time you just like, what, man, I don't think I'm gonna do this anymore. Like it's time to. Absolutely. My run's over. I'm gonna hang it up. I'm gonna be a grandma and be a mother. And
absolutely. I mean, after that happened, it was just like it was just like kind of like my whole world just stopped, and I just wasn't sure how I was gonna have the strength to continue on, you know, because she was such a big part of it, of everything that I've always done. But you know, looking back, I understand the sacrifice that both of my parents have made, and you know, she was so happy and so proud of everything that we've been able to accomplish. You know, it wasn't just my dream, it was her dream too, you know, and so I know that she's with me. I feel her everywhere. Sunflowers were kind of like the
Her
last
thing?
flower that I gave her when she was in the hospital, and she loved him so much, and after she passed, like, sunflowers would just come up everywhere, and they still, I mean, if anyone
sign, right?
watches
That,
my
hey, mom, you're
snaps,
still here. You're still
yeah,
around.
I mean, in the most random places. We were in Monterrey a couple weeks ago, and Roxy Perez, Jay's wife, was like, Steph, she's like, you know, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you about the loss of your mom, but she's like, she goes, I'm going to freak out if I start seeing sunflowers everywhere. And she was like, kind of like joking with me.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't you know it, like in the most random places, like she was seeing them, and she was like, Steph, oh my gosh, she was freaking out. Like, just, it was, they were popping up everywhere. People gave me gifts when I went. They, and some of them were sunflower stuff, like just sunflower, and they didn't really know, because I really haven't put it out there like on my social media. It's just been kind of like on my, I share a lot of it on my Snapchat, because it's kind of like easy to just kind of like throw pictures up or you know, just kind of
See it and it's gone.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been
Steph,
crazy.
and speaking of your beautiful mother, as a fan, you know, something that I have here, I would love to ask you is like, do you remember ever a time in your years of your career and your mom being there, do you ever remember a time where you walked down those steps or walked off that stage and your mother just gave you a look and just like you connected, and you know, it could have been, you know, after an award, it's just something, is there a moment in your career where you walked off the stage and there was, you know, just something, maybe your mom just pulled you aside and said, damn, yeah, that was, you know, because we all, even me, my mom's still alive, but there's moments in time that nobody can ever take from me, right? That were just, not that all the times weren't special, but just, you know, that moment in time.
Honestly, there's so many. And I can't pinpoint one, because she was so supportive and she was there throughout everything. I mean, literally, when I came here, when I got signed, when we flew to Miami, we flew to LA, when I got signed with Sony, and you know, we got to see Huey Lewis and all this stuff, and I just could see like the excitement in her eyes, and in everything that we did, it was like my mom was a very loving and positive person, and so it was just, you know, you could just see the pride in her, not just for me, but for like all my brothers and my sister, and you know, she was just very proud of her children and proud of everything that we've accomplished, and she always made us all feel very special and very loved.
Me as a mother, it's got to be awesome. Look up there and see both of your daughters up there singing, doing what they love. Another question, Steph, that I wanted to ask is, the name Montiel. Where does the name Montiel come from? Is that something that you started way back then, or
no? Okay, so you know, earlier I was kind of talking about being signed with Capitol Records, and I signed with Capitol when I still lived in Albuquerque. I recorded 2 singles. One of them was called Tú y Nadie Más, and the other one is called Primer Beso. Recorded those with Gibby and Martin Garcia over at, I believe it was it Zaz where we recorded? Gosh, I think it was Zaz back in the day. And recorded them, and Capitol was like, we want you to, you know, release a couple of songs, being that you're not from Texas. We want to kind of test the waters, and we're going to release them to radio and just make sure that everyone, you know, is on board with, you know, supporting you, since you're not, you know, not from Texas. And so we did that. We released the 2 songs, and they did really, really well at radio. And then all that stuff kind of happened with Capitol, where they dropped me, and they didn't, you know, we didn't even realize that we were owed money.
Right.
So we were just like, oh, okay, well, okay, we just thought that was just, it was an oversight or something from someone that made a mistake. So then they were like, okay, we're going to sign you, but we want to sign you for 7 years and, just sign this contract. And it was like a 3-page contract. And we were just like, okay. And so my dad's like, I don't know, something doesn't sound right. So he went back to our first contract, looked at it, and he was like, he was the one that's kind of figured out that they owed us money and that they dropped me before they had to pay that money. So a friend of ours from Albuquerque had moved to Texas, started working for an entertainment law attorney in Houston. And he's like, let me check this out. Let me, see what's going on, see if there's anything we can do because they dropped you, see if they can give you that money that they owe you. And, we kind of just actually decided to just move on from it because he started negotiating the contract with Capitol because we were like, okay, let's just move forward. We're going to, re-sign with Capitol and we're going to go forward with that. Well, in that time, I did a showcase here in San Antonio and a representative from Sony was there. Her name was Carmelita. And Carmelita approached us after the show and she was like, I work with Sony Discos. We love what we saw with your performance today. Like, we love your energy, your vocals, your image. And we would, we understand you're not signed right now. We would like to talk to you about possibly signing with Sony. And I was just like, no, we're already going to go with Capitol. And at that time, Capitol had Selena and all the big artists.
All the big artists, right.
It was, I didn't really know. I was so green. I didn't really know. I didn't really understand. How big Sony Discos was as well. So we told our attorney, and he's like, they've already contacted me. Sony's already contacted me. We're already kind of talking about signing you. I told them we're in negotiations with Capitol, but they want to put an offer on the table. And we were just kind of like, okay, well, I guess let's entertain it. Let's see what happens. So sure enough, Sony gave us a contract that we couldn't refuse. We could not refuse. It was, at the time, from what our attorney told us, it was one of the best contracts that anyone in Tejano had. And it wasn't supposed to be just for Tejano. They signed me because they wanted to kind of push me into the English market. So I was not only doing a lot of Tejano at that time, I was being flown to Miami, to California, to New York. We were doing a lot of shows, Chicago, like all the,
international cities in a sense. Yeah.
And, it was a crazy time. But it was crazy also because the 2 songs that I recorded with Capitol, another artist by the name of Stefani re-recorded those songs, and they basically took my vocal off and just had her re-record both of those songs, and they put them on her album. And you
those songs already been out.
I had already released them. They were both released to radio. So when that happened, it created so much confusion because there's this new Stefani that said those songs were on her album, same arrangement, everything. They had only taken my vocal off and said it was her all along.
What kind of Tejano historian am I if I don't even know this story here?
And then, so I was, at that time I was just Stefani. And so when I signed with Sony and they saw that Capitol had done that, there was just a lot of confusion. It created chaos because no one knew which Stefani had recorded what, and they thought we were the same person. And so a good friend of ours, Mr. Jose Rosario, was our guy at Sony. He was the president of Sony here in San Antonio. And he's like, we need to give you a last name because there's just too much confusion. So we need to differentiate between you, the other Stefani, and you. And he chose the name Montiel because of Sarita Montiel. She was a big star, is a big star in Mexico. And he's like, it's a beautiful name. It's a very prestigious name. And he's like, and I think it fits you. And so that's how I got Stefani Montiel.
You learn something new every day, all the time. And today I just learned that I thought you were going to say, well, it was my grandmother's name or it was Gabe's grandmother's name or something. And it's just like, I liked it and I went with it. But that makes total sense on why you went with that. And everybody knows Stefani Montiel now. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome, man. That is not awesome, right? Because it's dirty with the way they do you ever sing those 2 songs?
we've done them a couple of times, but not usually. We kind of left that.
Well, I could say you're doing really well. The original Stefani, you're doing really, really well.
Thank you.
For yourself. You've, like I said, if you guys have never seen Stefani Montiel show, you guys are absolutely missing out on a great. And you know what's cool, man, is that you do the perfect mixture of talking, interacting with the crowd, and playing music. Sometimes I go pay $40, $30 to see a band, and they do more of this than this, or they do more of this than this, right? And to each its own, right? You guys have it down. Like I don't know with Bob Ram, I don't know if you can let him do stand-up comedy. I don't know. The dude is just freaking hilarious.
Great.
But definitely to the fans, if you guys for some reason, I'm sure everybody on here has seen Steph somewhere perform, and it's just amazing, man. It really is. I love to see you do your stuff.
I have a great group of people behind me, so it makes it easy, when you have like-minded people who understand, what you're trying to do up there. And you have to really think about your audience. It's not about you or your ego or what you want to do. It's, you got to give them what they want. And I think, for us, we've always been very diverse in what we do. There for a while when, you asked about the kids and how we made that work, they were on the road with us for many years until they started school. And then we were like, great. What are
They
we
need
gonna
some
do
kind of
now?
normalcy.
Yes, because my sister, Sasha, she was homeschooled while we were on the road. And that it's very difficult. It's very difficult to keep up with and all of that. So we already kind of like knew how hard that would be to have the kids on the road and homeschooled and keep up with everything. So we decided, we want the kids to go to school, and we're not gonna have them out there on the road while they should be experiencing all the things that they need to experience to grow and to be a well-rounded person. Not that my sister's not a well-rounded person, because she's amazing, like my sister, but my sister is like super super smart. So it was like.
Well, they're throwing you under the bus in here. It's been a while. I mean, there's so many comments.
Under the bus?
They're throwing you. They're like, you gotta have. Stephanie has like, she makes crazy noises and like does all kinds of. I think it was your sister. Somebody said that
okay,
you do impersonations or something. I saw on there.
Oh.
Somebody was on there and said that. You said diverse, right? Your band.
Yeah.
Your drummer
Christina.
is a female drummer, right? How many female drummers do you know on La Onda Tejana?
Yeah, there's not many.
Honestly, she's the only one.
But so do you she comes from like Tejano royalty, right?
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna say who. Somebody's like, Bump, you got to get her on the show. So I'm in the works of trying to, because her story is awesome. But it's crazy. You guys said diverse, right? Because you guys are very diverse. You know what I mean? And she's another one that I've seen play, and I've seen her play in a little area at the beer depot, filling in with somebody. Just like you could tell she just loves to play the drums.
So talented.
Steph, for over the years, you would say your band, you guys have pretty much kept the same band together for the most part?
We try. It's tough, for anyone. And I think, we all have musicians that come and go, and sometimes, bigger bands kind of steal them away and then they go on to other opportunities. And we understand that. That's just part of music, and that's part of the industry. But we remain friends with all of these people. They're still part of our musical family. But Christina's been with us almost 10 years now. And Gabe, I don't even know how many years this dude. Like he's just a fixture.
Is Gabe can he be an a-hole on stage? Because I'm sure he's the band director, right? He's up there directing what's going to happen. Does he have a talk back?
No, we're pretty in tune with each other, all of us.
Okay, because I could see Gabe with a talk back being like, hey, F that up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we're not
no?
like that at all. I think we're one of the most chill bands, and it's so funny because we played in Lordsburg, New Mexico, and J Rod, he now plays with La Calma.
Yeah.
And he got up because who were we missing that night? We were missing Easy. Easy couldn't make, our guitar player Easy couldn't make the gig, and so J Rod offered to get up there and just kind of jam with us or whatever, and he told Christina, he's like, dude, he's like, it's crazy how like your unit works up there. He's like, y'all are just like
vibing off of one another.
Yeah, you communicate like just by looking at each other. He's like, the vibe was cool. Like, he was like, man, he's like, I just have a different, I guess, just a different perspective.
Right.
But we're all very in tune with each other. We kind of like know how we work, and, you said something earlier about, it's not about, what you have on stage. It's not about the lights and the sound and it's always about the sound, but I'm saying it's not about the lights and the screens and all of that stuff. We don't need all that stuff. Like, honestly, like,
right.
We put on a show regardless of the lighting and the stage or how many people
the production
are there.
Yeah.
We give 110% all the time.
Does the vibe carry off the stage?
Oh yeah. We sleep a lot too, like
so
we used to party,
and the reason I say that is like, I've come to find that a lot of groups that I love to listen to, that I'm fans of, one being Intocable, right? I love Intocable. I watch all their vlogs, right? But I've been honest. I always fast forward when they perform because I already know the songs. Like, I see them perform. I want to see the clowns eating dinner, the stuff, right? On the bus or in the vans or whatever, however you guys travel. So the reason I ask that is, does the vibe carry off? Like, who is the clown? Who's the prankster out of all you guys?
I think. Well, now I think it would definitely have to be Bob, because like he's more like,
oh, the dude's all over the face.
The rest of us, Easy's a prankster. He always does this thing like where he'll walk up behind me and he'll hit me and I turn and he's not there. Like, he gets me every time. Or he does this dumb thing where he goes like that and he makes you look at the hole, like the little hole.
Right.
Every time he gets me and I'm like, I already know it's coming. I already know he's gonna do it, and he gets me still every time.
What is a must stop for any road trip for the band?
West Texas is all subs. Buc-ee's.
All subs?
Yeah.
Is that a West Texas thing?
It is. West Texas, New Mexico.
That is the fried burrito, right?
Yes.
The
green
chimichanga.
chili and cheese. They have the green chili and cheese one too. That's my favorite. And the tortillas. We used to always get the tortillas for my mom. She'd be like, "Can you bring me like?"
So all subs is a must stop going west.
Is a must stop. Mm-hmm.
No Buc-ee's?
Buc-ee's for sure. Yeah, we always got to go to Buc-ee's. Always pick something up there.
Gabe, are you like me? You go into Buc-ee's, you just go in to take a leak, and you walk out with like, you bought $100 of shit that you absolutely do not need. Like, you just bought stuff.
You kidding me?
Oh, this is cool.
Cake pops.
I need this blanket.
It's more food. It's food with us. We'll get like the kolaches and of course we stop for the barbecue sandwiches.
Easily, right? You go to the registry, you're like, $100? What did you buy? My son's got like a little Bucky stuffed animal. My wife's got a blanket. The other 10 blankets, well, I forgot it. Well, shit, now we got to buy another blanket because you forgot your damn blanket. Yeah, Buc-ee's definitely is one for us. And the reason I say this is because people, have you guys ever thought of doing a vlog?
We haven't. I like.
Steph's like, all I do is sleep. What do you want to watch me sleep?
Forever for me to get ready because I don't like being on camera without makeup and all that stuff. Like, Gabe says that he never gets to go out with Stefani Montiel, that he always has Stephanie Sullivan.
and Steph, you guys are busy and music and family. Do you and Gabe still find time to just like, hey, you know what? Tonight's not about music. You're not going out to support another band, but like, do you guys just like pick up and go sit down somewhere and eat or go watch a movie or take a cruise downtown. I don't know. I mean, do you, in your busy lives, do you still find time to do that?
You know, it's been tough. Like I'm saying, like it's been a crazy couple of years for us with, you know, all this stuff with our family. And I didn't even mention, you know, like a lot of you guys probably know this, but Ilea lost a baby. Our daughter Ilea lost a baby. So like just recently, probably like a few months ago. And like I said, it's been like one thing after another. And it's been a trying time, I think, for our family, just as a unit. And then Gabe started a new job. He works at a new studio. So up until this point, we've had a home studio where he was always working at home. So it did afford us time to spend, you know, more time together. But since we moved and since, you know, all these things have been going on in our lives, I think it's kind of taken a back seat. But Gabe and I are, I don't know, people always ask, like, y'all don't get bored, like, being with each other all the time? Because we were literally together 24/7. Like, when we had the home studio, we were together all the time, like, day and night. It was like we were never apart. But it never got old to me. I don't know if it got old to him, but it didn't get old to me, you know? And it was like, I think we're both really just low-key. You know, Gabriel's a very understanding person and very... I don't know, he doesn't expect a lot, you know, from me. He's very understanding and very compassionate, and you know, that's just kind of how we've always been. I mean, we do things, we go places, but lately it's been a little bit more like where it's kind of like he's always at the studio and he's been working on so many things, and I've been kind of dealing with the emotional side of what I've been going through. So what time is it? Maybe we'll go out to dinner tonight.
There you go,
you got
right?
Stefani Montiel.
There you go. No, and the reason, you know, because just, and not just because you guys are artists, but I mean to everybody, you know, sometimes we just get so busy in our lives, man, especially with kids and, you know, school and you know, you're doing one thing, he's doing something else. And I think you have to, man, you have to take time and just, you know, I think, you know, one thing that I see everywhere I go is you go to a restaurant. This is like the worst thing right here. This is the best thing, and it's the worst thing. You know, you go to a restaurant, and it's like a couple's eating, and the dude's on his phone. She's on her phone. You know what I mean? It's like, you could have just stayed home. Like, you know what I mean? Pretty crazy, man. Pretty. Again, just trying to show a different side of Stefani. You know, you're a human being like everybody else, man. You have your ups and downs.
Definitely.
You know, you got to deal with Gabe every day. It can't be easy, right? It can't be easy dealing with an artistic person like Gabe. Tonight, this couldn't be possible without my friends at All My Sons Self-Defense. If you're looking to maybe, I don't know, you want to take care of yourself. You think we live in a crazier world, and you want to take the right classes and do the right things. Hit up my friends at All My Sons Self-Defense. You can hit them up at 210-375-5822 and let them know that Bumper sent you. They'll walk you through. If you've never owned a rifle or a gun, they'll walk you through all those things. Great people. And so hit them up, man. 210-375-5822. In 2 weeks, Toys for Tejanitos, K Alamo 98.9 will be out there at Slim Sports Bar. You can bring $5 or unwrapped toy. We'll get you in. There's going to be a lot of meet and greets. I'll be out there with the K Alamo Weekend Warriors. It's going to be a good time. Come out and check it out. I don't have the flyer, and I'm sorry that I don't, but this weekend you could catch me in Seguin, Texas. I'll be out there with the Conjunto Cats. They're doing not a turkey drive, but we're just raising some little money for families in Seguin to have a good Thanksgiving. The Conjunto Cats, this is like their second or third year doing it. So we're in the season of that, Steph. You better be ready. There's a lot of fundraisers, and you know it's. Are you? I should probably ask Gabe, but I'll ask you because you're the one on camera. Do you set up Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving?
I usually do it after, like literally the day after, but I think I'm going to set it up early, being that it's my mom's favorite was was Christmas, so I'm gonna set things up early this year.
Dude, there's people that set that up like Halloween's over and it's like the next thing Christmas tree. I'm like, hey bro, it's November, dude. Like, God. But you go to all these stores and all the Christmas stuff is out.
It's
You know what I
out.
mean?
It's
You walk
been
to it's crazy, man. So are you a Christmas? You said your mom loved Christmas.
Oh my
Are
gosh,
you?
I love Christmas too. So like it's because of my mom. So it's like yeah, our house was like ridiculous.
So-
I
so-
think I had how many Christmas trees last year? I didn't have 23 Christmas trees, but
Throughout the house?
I have them everywhere. Yeah, like I set them up.
that's true.
I even set them up outside in the backyard, in the front yard. Like
And who's the one that has to decorate it?
I do.
But I do the hauling.
You hang the lights up
No, I just haul things from the shed to the.
to the
It becomes a winter wonderland in the house.
But I haul it.
Oh, wait, real quick, Emmy, New Mexico green chili. Okay, I saw your comment. But I still love you guys, and I love Colorado too.
It's you know, Christmas for me. My wife's like, I don't know what happened the other day. Oh, next week, me and La Chismosa 210, we're gonna be Thursday. We're gonna be at the hemisphere, the thing behind the hemisphere. What's it called? Not the hemisphere. What is it called? By the AT&T Center in the back.
The Coliseum.
But it's hemisphere, right?
I think so.
Whatever's behind there is like a piece of that. Well, they're gonna set up a Christmas expo. So they reached out to us and like, hey, can you guys come do a show like us? Like you, yeah. So and my wife's like, they want you, the Grinch, like, cause Christmas is not my.
No, it's not your
Nah,
thing.
like it's not my. I don't know. I just never been a Christmas person. Like I'm like, oh, dude, the wife. After Thanksgiving, I already know. I'm like, damn, dude. I gotta go in the garage. I gotta go. She's gonna ask me what I
a
do with the
lot.
lights last year. I just stuffed them in a box. I don't know what box they're in.
Yeah,
you know, I
it's a
gotta hang the
lot.
lights up, and this is like, God dang it, man! As soon as you get everything right, oh, it's time to take it all down.
I know it
You know
takes
what I
so
mean?
much time. But it's also my birthday month, so I was almost a Christmas baby. I was born on the 23rd, so December is just a special month for me personally, because it's my born month. I'm a Capricorn, y'all. I'm a goat, so y'all be careful.
He's like, I'm a Capricorn. Oh man. I really wish that Tejano people would work together more. I know you're like, Bumper, where the hell are you going with this? Again, like I said, I really love that you guys are always out there supporting other artists. And now we're gonna get, before we call it a night, I'm gonna put Stefani in the hot seat and ask her, what's your take with the onda right now? Like, where do you think we're, you know, as a genre, as a Tejano industry, where do you think we're at, and which way is it going?
Well, you know, earlier you mentioned, you know, that we're on this wave, like Gabe said, and I feel that too. I've been feeling that for a while, and I feel like the momentum is back, and we're, you know, we're seeing a lot of young up and coming artists, and you're seeing even, you know, the core artists of Tejano getting excited and releasing more music and getting out and performing more and being a little more hands-on, I think, you know, than they had been in a while. We got real complacent, I think, just as an industry. And I feel like for a long time it was just very stagnant. You know, there was just kind of like the same people, the same things going on. And I feel like there's a new energy. You feel it everywhere, and you see new venues opening. But I also feel that there's a lot of cliques, and to me, that's something that kills an industry, because we're all in this together. We're all a family, and this isn't a very big industry. So the more we kind of have our cliques, and we, you know, kind of.
And when you say cliques, it's like, if you see this band, you know you're going to see this band. Or if you'll never see these two bands together because that band's part of this clique and this band's part of that.
Yeah, or just artists in general, because, you know, you see some people working together, and then that's kind of like the only people that they surround themselves with. And it's like, they don't allow others into that, into that circle. And we've always been about helping artists. This is not something new to us. We've done this for years. Even when I was still kind of an up and coming artist, I would always showcase young female artists. I would ask, I would see them singing, and you can tell when someone's out there and they truly love, they have that passion and that drive for music. And I was always very welcoming, and I would invite anyone to come up on stage with us and try to help them and push them and encourage them, and then it got to be where they these people knew that, and anytime we were in their area they'd come and they would come up and sing with us, and then it became Gabe starting to produce some of those artists that had always been around and had now grown into young women, and they're trying to get their foot in the door. So as far as that, we've always been very open and welcoming and very much tried to help anyone who was
the young new artists that are out
right,
there,
who just needed a hand. So I feel when I see some of these cliques and some of these people that just it's about them and what they're doing, it kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit, just because I feel like we all need to help each other. There should be none of this where we're better than you or we're in competition with you, and I don't think we need to be in competition with each other at all. We need to be in competition with ourselves and try to push ourselves and try to be better, not just for ourselves but for our industry, because if we want national exposure, if we want these national people to see our industry, we have to be on the level that the country music market is, the pop music market is, and you see all of them helping each other out
for sure,
and you feel that genuine the sincerity,
I like to say that, Tejano music, the industry, it's a buffet, it's a table, right? And Stephanie's been doing it for a long time, so your chair is going to be a lot more comfy than the new person, right? Yeah. But there's enough room at the table for everybody to eat. There's enough food for everybody to eat and make a living, right? Should your chair be a little more comfy than the person to your right or left that are just getting started? Damn right, you worked for that chair, right? But it's not like you're picking your elbows out saying, "Hey, now get your ass down. You can't eat at this table," right? If you're out there helping these artists, they should be able to sit at the table too. Maybe not in a comfy chair like you're in, but they can make their chair with time and effort. They can make their chair comfy like everybody else. Another great thing that you two both do is your music. You're one of the people that has never been scared to go outside the box. I talk about that all the time, right? The box Tejano music, and for older fans, if it just squeezes out of that corner of that box, like, no, Charlie, why is that? Why are they even playing that? That's not Tejano music, right? Well, first of all, who the hell are you to say what is and what is not Tejano music? But some of the songs you've done that are hits, like literally totally outside the box of what we consider Tejano music.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. And I think that comes from, our background. Gabriel and I both, we grew up listening to everything. It wasn't just, like I said, it wasn't a style. It wasn't Tejano. It wasn't New Mexico. It wasn't country. It was just music. And we were exposed to so much music and so many incredible artists that kind of, that molded who we are today and our musical likes and the way that we arrange music, the way we write music. And then on top of that, when I signed with Sony, they recognized that, and they wanted me to go into the English market. So I had that also in, the back of my mind, and they were pushing for me to do pop music. And, I was able to have Mario Lopez in my first music video in Tejano music, and it wasn't even a Tejano song. It was a
Mario
song.
Lopez from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Gabe.
That was before me.
I didn't know Gabe at the time, but it was just promotion, really. Like it just kind of worked out where we were able to do that. I was doing shows with Ricky Martin. We were with Mark Anthony. We were on the chart. We got played on VH1. We had our video "Ay Papi" played on VH1.
Ay
we
Papi.
were on the charts in Puerto Rico with Celine Dion and Metallica on the same
Hell
list.
yeah, that's
You
what I'm
know,
talking
it's-
about right there.
So I think, all of that just kind of opened those doors and really allowed us to be ourselves. We weren't trying to fit a mold. We weren't trying to be a Selena or sound like David Lee Garza. Those people already had their style. La Mafia had their style. Everyone at that time had their own style. It wasn't like anyone sounded like anyone, and that's really just what we were trying to do and what we continue to try to do, because I feel like in doing that, you gain a younger ear, because these kids out here, that's what they're listening to. They're listening to Bad Bunny. They're listening to Karol G. They're listening to Nati Natasha. They're listening to music that is young.
Corridos tumbados.
Corridos tumbados, yes. And, we need to still think about that, because our kids are Tejano.
They're going to other genres.
They are, and they're not listening to Tejano because it's not cool anymore.
What
So
we
need to make
we
it
said this last time on the show. They asked me Bump, what are we missing? We always go to you and we have you figured out the answer of what's wrong with Tejano music? And for those that didn't watch, I'll tell you the quick answer is we're missing, and people have heard me say this a million times. We're missing we're missing one age gap, and it's 10 years. It's the 15-year-old to 25-year-old. We have the 26 and above, we got them. But the 15 to 25-year-old, we don't have. And what we tend to forget is that growing up, when we were growing up, right, those groups, La Fiebre, all these, they were young 20-year-old dudes catching the eyes of women, of you could relate to them because they were your age.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now, if you go to think about it, what groups do we have that are 15 to 25 right now rocking the stages?
Yeah.
We don't, right? And I tell young kids that are out there doing music, I'm like, look, man, I promise you, a boy band right now of Tejano music, all boy, and I say the Conjunto Cats, but then I say Art, you're old Art, you throw it off, right? The dad. But, if you put young kids who dress with what's in today and they kind of like what Feedman does, right? They wear cowboy hats. The next thing you know, they're wearing Gucci and Louis Vuitton, and you know what I mean. They dress whatever they want. Mm-hmm. I think it would be we could catch that age group. But you touched on it, so I had to add. And enough about me. This time of the show, we get to the end of the show. I like to hand the mic over to Miss Stefani, and she can do shout out. She can do any thank you. She can do what's coming up. Anything. The mic is yours, Steph. If there's something you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to talk.
Gosh, let me think.
Drum roll. You want to do a drum roll?
We had a great time. I do want to give a shout out to the band out there watching. Just a shout out to all my band, because these guys and girls are just amazing, and they're always behind me no matter what we do, no matter where we go. They're just my musical family, my road family. So we mentioned Christina Hinojosa, our drummer. Shout out to Chris. Easy Sin on guitar, Jay Leva out of Midland, Texas. He's our keyboard player. Bob Ram, we mentioned him as well. He's our newest member here in San Antonio. Of course, my sister Sasha, and our daughter Ilea, who also has been performing with us. These guys and girls really make my job so much easier, and I hope that they know how much they're appreciated, and I just thank them all for being part of my journey. And to all the fans out there who constantly support us, who send us messages, give us love, and who have supported me personally and my family through one of the roughest times of my entire life. I am so thankful, and I have not enough words to thank each of you for not only sending me messages, but praying for me and for my family, and for being here for me. I still have people who check on me and will send me poems or pictures, or or just say, hey, how are you doing? I've been thinking of you. And it means more than you could ever know. I mean, I think that that support that I received from all of you out there, that's what's got me through, because I was at a very low place and I wasn't sure that I wanted to continue with music. I was very, very close to just saying I'm done. But, you know, my mom, I could feel the love and I could feel the sincerity in every single one of you with your messages and, you know, the cards and just everything. I mean, I couldn't even respond to all of the messages and comments and things that I had, but I just want to say thank you. And please know that it didn't go unnoticed and that you pulled me through one of the hardest times of my life. And so I'm forever grateful for that. You know, we have new music coming out. Like we mentioned earlier, we're going to be releasing some new music very, very soon. I think we're going to go ahead and go with an EP so that we can release it sooner than later. But Gabe is killing it in the studio. I'm super excited for you guys to hear this music that we have coming for you. And we're going to do some traditional Stefani Montiel's music, you know, like back from the 90s. But
La madre.
I know. So we're bringing back some of that stuff, like some of, you know, that style. But of course, you know, we also are going to have some of the like club bangers that we have, and just, you know, I love to dance. I love to have fun. And, you know, I think that when we put on our shows out there, you know, there's so many great artists, but sometimes like I feel like, you know, I go out, like you said, you know, you want to go out and you want to see this band play and you want to see them perform, not talk all night or not, you know, it's okay and it's fine, you know, during, you know, certain things, but I'm all about energy up there. I'm all about having a good time, having people sing with me and feel, you know, what I'm feeling, and I want to give back what they give to me. So the music that we have coming out is going to do just that for you guys. So be on the lookout, because
that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know what else we have with Crystal City this weekend. We'll be at the Spinach Festival on Sunday. So if you guys want to come on out and join us, it's going to be an awesome event. Solido is going to be out there alongside with us. I believe we go on before them. Estilo is going to be there as well. And we'll be at the Tejano Music Awards the following weekend. So if you guys come out to
Bean
the
OG,
awards,
he's calling in the middle of the show.
we'll be out there for that. Oh, and a huge thank you out to the New Mexico Music. Oh gosh, I know I'm going to say this wrong. They're inducting me into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame the same night as the Tejano Music Awards, and I won't be able to attend, but I'm like so excited because
They couldn't change the date?
they have a bunch of inductees and you know, both musicians and artists, and so I just want to congratulate everyone who's being inducted into the class of 2022 for the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. And it's just such an honor and such a blessing to be recognized by my home state and in my home city. You know, it was hard to leave New Mexico. It's hard to leave it today. When I go back and visit my family and I'm there, I long for the green chili and the red chili and the Sandia Mountains and all my New Mexico people. I love you. I love my family so much. But, you know, it's like, you know, we grow, you know, and sometimes in order to grow, you have to leave where you are. And that doesn't mean that I love New Mexico any less than I love Texas. I love both New Mexico and Texas so very much. And I'm just so thankful for having the support of both states. And I carry both of you in my heart.
It's just a line in the dirt, Steph. It's just a line in the dirt.
But I'm forever grateful for, you know, having this career that I have and for being able to sustain for so many years and for the love that everyone has shown me and given to me. And I'm so thankful to everyone who's been part of, you know, this career of mine. It's been a long journey. And we've had a lot of different musicians. Like you said, have you had the same musicians? You know, we've had a lot of different musicians, just like any band does. But everyone's, you know, played a big part in that. And I'm grateful to every single one of you guys because it's been a different and amazing experience. And it's always something new. But we've had an amazing time, an amazing run. And it's not over. We're going to continue. So I think we're just getting better with age, like fine wine. And my voice is it's kicking.
No, we you know, I honestly I wanted to bring that up. Your voice is extremely extreme. It it is one of the strongest voices in La Onda Tejana. Like it is. Not because you're here. I've said it before on other conversations. You know, people tell me like Steph's voice. You could give her anything to sing and she's gonna kill it. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And I know the fans know that, right? The fans know that. But Steph, I want to thank you for, you know, you and Gabe coming out. I know there's 100 things you could be doing on a Wednesday, having dinner somewhere, but you decided to come to this side of town and hang out with me. And again, just people get to know Stefani Montiel, right? A little bit. And, you know, I learned something new today. I learned, you know, Montiel. I didn't know that. I thought it was a family name or something like that. But before I let you go, hopefully you say yes. You don't say no. Most people, you'll never get to do this. And I hopefully I get to, she says yes. So I want to be able to take a shot at tequila with Steph to the song "Quien Quiere Shots," like, you know. So
I'm ready.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I take it that's a yes.
Yes.
And,
You ain't gotta tell me twice.
there you go. So to everybody watching, man, thank you guys so much for this wonderful one. And Stephanie, thank you again. Gabe, thank you guys. Y'all look forward to seeing Gabe on here. His smiling face. I got tons of questions for him. So I poured you a little one. I didn't pour you a, you know, because I didn't know if Gabe was going to make you drive. But Steph, to future success. And thank you for all the great years. And we look forward to many more years of your great music. Thank you.
With this amazing show that you do and everything you do for our Onda, I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I just want you to know that it doesn't go unnoticed. I know how hard you work and I appreciate it. And I know that all the fans out there do as well.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
George Strait. Die. There you go. Now we're singing Amarillo by Morning. Thank you guys so much. Everybody watching on Steph every Wednesday, 7:30 right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Stay tuned. We got more Tejano.